What's up, guys? I've been driving ST1 and the PTA recently a lot, and I'd like to share some thoughts about these tanks. So they're medium tanks, but they're kind of special medium tanks in the sense that they do not have much armor. I would rather say that they don't have armor whatsoever, especially the absence of armor and the turret makes them like painful to drive. But they have pretty good guns. So there are a couple of rules, not rules actually, rather guidelines that I try to follow. The first one is that I always try to keep the distance between myself and red enemy tanks. The reason is that because you don't have armor, and if you would try to brawl with them, they would be able to easily out-TPM you. Uh, Occasionally they could bounce something, but you can't. So what you see me doing here is that I'm staying on the top of the hill and I'm sniping. I have a good distance between me and red tanks. They would have hard time climbing up the hill, which means that I can dodge their bullets and I could run away in case they would try to rush me. As you will see, the red T-44 tries to go high. The only tank which came with me is T-62 Dragon, but it's fast one and it could easily run away. So I would be alone against T-44, which would be quite painful. So I would start to run away immediately as I noticed the situation. Because I believe that T-44 could out-DPM me, and I don't want this to happen. So that's the rule number one. Try to keep the distance between yourself and red enemy tanks. The rule number two is try to stay next to your friendly tanks. In particular, I found T-32, which is pretty well armored, and I use it as a cover. T-32 has the gun which is not that good in terms of penetration. So what I'm doing is that I am augmenting his armor with my ability to pierce heavy armor with hit rounds. And as you see, that turns out quite well. I helped him to break that lock, remove those guns, and now we could advance. And that support role is very important for STA1. Now T-44 came down, which is a bit of a mistake. He'd better stayed with red T-32 and protected him, but people do mistakes, and now you will see why it was a mistake. We outnumbered that tank 2-1, and he has almost no chance on the flat ground against two of us. And that's a typical mistake which medium drivers do. So I did get hit a couple of times, but I'm in a pretty good shape, and we outnumbered T-32. I would try to get a side shot. Now you see I'm actually getting closer to that T-32, but that's kind of a special case because now we are one-on-one, and mediums have ability to go around heavy tanks, and that's what I'm trying to do. Well, actually I'm trying to use the hill to snipe from a safe location, because the stun gets good gun depression. Surprisingly, I bounced a couple of shots from the back of T-32. Now consider what would have happened if I stayed on top of the hill, if I would die brawling with T-44. That T-44 could go down and help T-28 prototype to finish our T-32, and enemy team suddenly would have a much better chance to win this game. And here is another one in Leo PTA. At this point I have the Top Gun, but my engine and trucks are still stock. I actually drive this tank because even with stock engine and stock tracks, I still could snipe and still could do good damage. And the mobility is enough to stay at the second line and support other tanks on the team. So I don't feel bad driving this tank in that configuration. As you see, I moved rather aggressive, and the reason I did this is because we haven't noticed any tanks near the mill, so I came there just to clarify that all enemy tanks went flanking, so our tanks won't be all over the map, so to say. As you see, my next move is to return and support other medium tanks, and that's that rule or guideline which I was talking about. Try to stay within the group of friendly tanks, because because red tanks would be distracted. They essentially would be looking into the tanks which are at the front, and we have a much better chance to avoid their fire. So basically that's what I'm doing here. I'm trying to pick out and sneak some shots, but T-54 has a much better chance at the front line than I do. Also notice how I try to stay totally hidden behind the hill. I'm not even trying to look at the enemy tank. The reason is that I still could be penetrated in the turret, because the turret is trash. But another reason is that when I'm totally hidden from their view, I have a chance to disappear from the map. And this means that enemy tanks see only like one tank at the front, and they're willing to take a bit more risk of picking out and trying to hit our tank. But at this point, I pop out from that hill and punish them for this. Now, I traded shots with T-54, but I believe that this was not that bad move, because that T-54 was quite close and it was spotting me. And now we are in a much better shape. Also, I was at full health, and instead of being full health and having my allies being one shot, we changed this into a situation where we both are like half alive, which allows us to be a bit more risky and do some risky moves at the end. So again, two rules: try to keep distance from other tanks, try to stay within the group of other tanks. This typically works well, and if you have enough health, you could use this closer to the end of the game. Good luck on the battlefield. Bye.